and controversial initiatives of a potential second Trump presidency, the DOGE AI deregulation tool. Today, we're diving deep into this story. We'll explore what DOGE is, how it's supposed to work, and why proponents say it could unlock trillions in economic growth, while critics warn it could trigger a constitutional crisis and endanger American lives. This is more than just cutting red tape. It's a fundamental reimagining of how America is governed. Let's get into it. First things first, what are we even talking about? In January 2025, according to the plan, a new Trump administration would launch the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Its mission: to use technology to radically shrink the federal bureaucracy. The crown jewel of this new department is the DOGE AI deregulation decision tool. Imagine an incredibly powerful AI, designed to read, analyze, and assess the entire body of federal law. We're talking about some 200,000 individual rules, millions of pages of dense legalese that dictate everything from the safety standards of your car to the purity of your drinking water. The AI's directive is simple and brutal. Identify 100,000 of these rules, a full 50% for elimination by January 2026. The criteria for deletion? The AI is programmed to flag rules it deems unnecessary, duplicative, economically burdensome, or obsolete. Early test runs have already been conceptualized for agencies like the Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Initial reports suggest the AI flagged over 1,000 sections at HUD for removal. At the CFPB, the goal was even more aggressive: near-complete implementation to wipe out rules the administration views as choking financial innovation. So why do this? To supporters, the answer is clear. This is about economic liberation. Proponents, drawing from the core of Project 2025's agenda, argue that the regulatory state is a hidden tax on every American. The logic goes like this. First, cost savings. The sheer cost for businesses to comply with these regulations is estimated to be in the trillions of dollars. Slashing these rules means businesses, especially small businesses, can spend less on lawyers and compliance officers and more on hiring, innovation, and lowering prices. Second, economic growth. Think about a new factory, a new bridge, or a new energy project. These can be held up for years, even decades, by regulatory reviews and permits. The DOGE AI promises to cut through that, unleashing a wave of new infrastructure and development. This aligns perfectly with the executive order to repeal at least 2 regulations for every new one introduced. Third, government efficiency. Proponents claim this will save taxpayers billions by reducing the size and scope of federal agencies needed to enforce these rules. A leaner, faster government, they say, is a better one. This isn't just about tweaking the system. It's about taking a sledgehammer to what they call the deep state bureaucracy, rolling back climate rules like the EPA's 2009 endangerment finding on greenhouse gases, and fundamentally restructuring the relationship between the government and the economy. But as you can imagine, an army of critics sees this not as liberation, but as a 5-alarm fire for American democracy and public safety. Their concerns fall into 3 major categories. First, the AI black box. How does the AI actually decide a rule is unnecessary? What if its data is biased? An AI might see a rule mandating lead paint inspections in old homes as low impact on the national economy. But for the family living in that home, that rule is the only thing protecting their children from permanent brain damage. What if a complex aviation safety directive is flagged for deletion because the AI misunderstands its technical necessity? There's no transparency, no reasoning, just a digital thumbs down. Second, bypassing democracy. For almost 80 years, the U.S. has operated under the Administrative Procedure Act. This law requires that when an agency wants to make or remove a rule, it must notify the public and allow for a comment period. This gives citizens, scientists, industry experts, and advocates a voice. The DOGE AI appears designed to treat this process as an obstacle to be bypassed, allowing the executive branch to rescind rules without that full public notice and debate. And third, and this is the big one, A constitutional crisis. Critics argue this is a massive overreach of executive power. Congress, the legislative branch, grants agencies the authority to create regulations to enforce the laws it passes. The idea that a president could use an AI to unilaterally wipe out half of those regulations raises profound questions about the separation of powers. Legal experts warn that this would immediately trigger an avalanche of lawsuits. Groups from the ACLU to the Sierra Club to consumer watchdog organizations would argue that this is an illegal attempt to legislate from the Oval Office. The fight would almost certainly go all the way to the Supreme Court. So, where does this leave us? The DOGE AI deregulation tool is more than a policy proposal. It's a symbol of a new governing philosophy. It's a vision of an aggressive, centralized executive branch that uses technology to enact its ideological agenda with unprecedented speed and scale. If DOGE were to deliver on its goals, the Washington, D.C. of 2026 would be a profoundly different place. It would be leaner, yes. Faster, almost certainly, but critics would add other words. Less accountable, more reckless, and stripped of protections that Americans have relied on for generations. The battle over DOGE would be a battle for the soul of the American administrative state. It pits the promise of radical efficiency against the principles of democratic oversight and regulatory caution. This is a story that is still developing in the realm of political planning, but it's one we all need to watch. Because the outcome won't just be felt in the halls of Washington, it will be felt in your workplace, in your home, and in the air you breathe. So what do you think? Is the DOGE AI a brilliant innovation to unshackle the American economy? Or is it a dystopian nightmare that puts our safety and our democracy at risk? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is a complex topic, and I want to hear all sides. And if you want to stay informed on stories like this, make sure you're subscribed and have hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay informed.